On? Oh, it is on. Hi, I'm a bit new at this, but welcome back. For today, I would like to talk about tags and triggers. I'm aware that my alternate self, Cancree, other Cancree, little Cancree, has made a bit of a bad name for triggers, trigger warnings, tagging things, and the like. And I'd like to shed a little light on it as best that I can. My resources may be a bit outdated, so feel free to stop me if this is something that has already been addressed, or if I'm handling it poorly, or anything of the like. First of all, I would like to enlighten you to the definition of trigger, if you are unaware. A trigger is something that triggers a traumatic experience, a memory of a traumatic experience. It can be a picture, a word, somebody doing something, talking about something, asking you something, a particular phrase, something like that can be a trigger. And what a trigger does is it takes you back to a traumatic experience. And sometimes, say if you were attacked by someone in an alleyway, alleyways could be a trigger for you. And no, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's a correlation that your brain makes. And that trigger is something that when brought up, your brain goes back to that experience. Now, if it's something traumatic and awful, that can be horrible and send someone into a panic or anxiety attack. That is the definition of trigger, something that can send you into a panic or anxiety attack. Now, this is not to be confused with a squick. A squick is... Oh, hello there. Come here. Make an appearance, why don't you? This little creature has stumbled into my den. Is your owner missing you? Go on. Apologies. A squick is something that makes you uncomfortable. Something this don't really want to talk about it, don't really want to think about it. It makes you uncomfortable. For me personally, blood is a squick. Sexual harassment is a trigger. I've been through some, pardon my language, but shit in my time. And talk of sexual harassment is very triggering for me. However, blood is just kind of, ew, just, no. And I don't want it around me, but it's not something that's going to ruin me. And I don't think people remember that there's a difference enough. A trigger is something that could send you into a panic or anxiety attack. A squick is something that makes you uncomfortable that you don't like. Now, both should be respected, but there is a difference. Now, as far as tags go, I'm assuming this mostly goes for Tumblr, where tags are commonly used system, whereas on Facebook or YouTube, they're just not as common. Things that should always be tagged are blood, obviously, IRL, or in real life, for sure, and a lot of drawn blood can be very graphic, so that should be tagged as well. Body horror is another one. When the body is mutilated or contorted in some way, that can be very triggering for people, and should also be tagged. Needles, abuse of any kind. This can be sexual, parental, verbal, physical. This is just the kind of thing that should be tagged so people can avoid it. On Tumblr, there is a mechanism called a blacklist that allows for you to take all those posts off your dash. And so when you're scrolling down and looking around, you won't see those posts. It'll just say, well, this is a post that has this thing that you've blacklisted, so you don't have to see it. Which is why it's a good thing to make sure and tag everything so that your followers can feel safe following you. Now, as a follower, it is, however, your job to follow what makes you feel safe. If you're following a not safe for work blog, or someone who's over 18, there will be not safe for work material, and it is your job to avoid that. It is not theirs to keep it off of their blog. Yes, it should be tagged, also so that people can find it, but it is not their fault for posting it. This goes for depressive venting, or dark art. Dark arts. You get the idea. It's so that people can avoid certain things, and it's a very, very good idea to tag anything that you think could be a trigger, and it's not all that much work. And if it is, then let people know the kind of content that's going to be on your blog so that it can be avoided. This also goes for YouTube channels and Facebook pages. Say in your description if it's going to be graphic content, because this is something a lot of people need to avoid. Now, the other thing I'd like to mention about triggers is that not everybody knows that it's a trigger for you. People might not know that this is something that happened. They might not know that it bothers you. A lot of people talk about blood, and some people find sexism amusing, sadly. And these are the kind of things that you have to remember, that not everyone knows that it upsets you. And if you don't have that trigger well known, somebody could talk about it without meaning to and offend you or hurt your feelings or trigger you without meaning to. And the biggest thing to make sure you do in regards to triggers is forgive people. Unless they are triggering you on purpose, which people hardly ever do, the chances are that they didn't mean it. And they are usually very, very sorry for hurting you. So give them another chance and explain to them why you were triggered, why you were hurt and upset, but don't stay mad forever, because that's ruining a perfectly good opportunity, as well as, well, just plain rude. Let's see, is that about everything? I believe so. But I think the biggest point of this video is to make sure that everyone remembers the difference between a trigger and a squick. Squick makes you uncomfortable, unsatisfied, irritated, or angry. A trigger sends you back to a traumatic experience to the degree of panic or anxiety attack. There is a very big difference between these two, and not everything is a trigger. Yes, a lot of things are, but some things could be a squick, and please look at yourself and figure out which things are triggers and which are squicks, just so that you can allow other people to be around you more easily. Thank you for watching, and I hope that didn't offend anyone.